Hello, my name is Mike Moran, and I'm the Director of Partnerships at LendSuite Software. Today, I have a very interesting opportunity for you to monetize part of your operation. Are you a storefront lender, online lender, or a tribal lender generating organic traffic? This discussion is going to be for you. The holiday season is fast approaching, and the timing is perfect to announce Agora is now fully integrated into Infinity. For those of you that don't know or haven't used Agora before, it is a product that is powered by Takambi, and it allows you to connect with some of the best lead providers in the short-term lending industry to monetize the leads that you didn't want. Maybe they didn't fit into your current funding strategy, but they submitted an app. You still have those customers to help solve their immediate cash flow needs while also recouping the cost for the work and effort you put in to generate these potential customers. I've had the luxury of talking to many storefronts and state licensed lenders, and I hear the same thing over and over. I would love to do this, but lead providers are going to treat the customers poorly. I can't speak for every lead provider, but what I do take pride in is when I add a lead provider to LendSuite Marketplace. They're the best of the best. So the plan for today is simple. We're going to start off going through a quick discussion of how Agora works. Then I'm going to bring in a few lead providers to discuss how they monetize your customers while treating them with the respect that you would treat your own customers with. So we will dive in and discuss Agora and Infinity first. But if you're watching this and are an Epic customer, don't worry. It is a simple API post to Agora, so you'll be ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and get this started, and let's bring in and really look at how Agora operates inside and exactly what Agora does and how it does it so well. Thank you. All right, so with the exciting news that Takambi's Agora is now fully integrated into Infinity, I thought it was perfect timing to bring in Oscar from Takambi to really dive in and tell us a little bit about Agora and how that can really help you monetize your traffic. Oscar, how you doing?
Good, sir. How are you? Very excited to be here.
That is awesome. So, Oscar, what is Agora?
So Agora is actually a lead selling platform that we built out probably about a year and a half ago. We identified opportunities with the lenders that were using our Originate product, and they were trying to figure out a way to monetize their traffic from their web products, from their websites, right? A lot of lenders are always looking to generate their own organic traffic, direct mail traffic, pay-per-click traffic, but not every lead that comes through is something that qualifies for them, right? So when we built Agora, the concept was, how do we identify a revenue opportunity for a lender to be able to offset marketing dollars and continue to expand their overall marketing budget?
Okay, and so how does it help the lender? A lot there. How do we package that up and the lender can use it to maximize some revenue here?
Great question. So, I mean, the way that it helps is we've created a directory within the system, right, that connects to the LendSuite partnership program, where we have a handful of networks that are able to take on that decline traffic, right? So generating revenue for all of those leads that do not qualify for a lender.
Okay, so if I'm a lender, I generate my own traffic, can I set parameters on what I want to sell and how much I want to sell it for?
Exactly. Yep. So depending on who you choose to work with, right, through the partnership program as well. And again, some that might not be part of it. So at the end of the day, you get to pick and choose who you work with. With that, you also do have the ability to set those price points, right? So if you're looking to sell leads at $100 and above, $50 and above, $2 and above, you set it, right? It's a ping tree. At the end of the day, we'll go from top to bottom, from the highest price down to the lowest price. The system does also have the ability to have price reject incorporated into it. So we do have that flexibility where there might be bids that are happening in between. It's a more sophisticated way of buying leads, but that is also built into the tool.
So as the lender, if I sign up with Agora, it's almost like having my own little ping tree, correct?
That is correct. Yep, exactly. So now you have the same flexibility that a network would have, right? So again, we have seen this be a benefit to lenders, right? So some of the success stories that we've seen from the past, lenders are able to generate a very healthy amount of revenue from these initiatives.
Yeah, that's exactly my next question is, if I'm a storefront or a state licensed person, I'm generating organic traffic that for some reason I can't fund. It's almost crazy that I don't try to monetize that, right?
Agreed. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, if from a compliance standpoint, we always recommend, right, that you talk to your compliance team to make sure that that is something that is allowed. We're definitely seeing many lenders go down this path overall. And, it definitely is a revenue opportunity. At the end of the day, when we rolled out Agora maybe about a year and a half ago, we're seeing anywhere between $250,000 to $350,000 generated for lenders that are currently leveraging the platform. So, earnings per lead, there's just a lot of opportunity for revenue there.
That is nice. So I know before, but it was fully integrated. There was a big process you had to go through. It was a lot of work for both sides. But now that we're fully integrated, I think I might have mentioned it before, but Takambi's running a special, correct? For new lenders jumping on Agora?
That is correct. Yep. So any lender that is working with any of the other sister business units, whether that be Epic or Infinity, we are looking to do a free setup as well as 6 months for free in order to test the waters on this product, right? We do feel that it will add a lot of value, and we do see that it is going to be a long-term strategy for lenders. So again, with us, the goal is just to help lenders overall just be able to generate revenue, as well as, complement with the other products that we offer into the market.
Okay, well, Oscar, I appreciate your time today. I think this is some great information to start, and we look forward to seeing a lot of lenders signing up and getting this product rolling.
Appreciate it. We look forward to it as well. Have a great one. Thank you, Mike.
As we continue exploring ways that you can maximize your revenue, a lot of people ask me about compliance, and compliance is key. So what I've done is I've brought in some good friends, Anet and Morgan from Leap Theory, to really discuss how they handle compliance and maybe what you should be thinking about when you're selling your decline traffic. Morgan and Anet, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks so much for the intro. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah, no, so we've been discussing so far today reselling decline traffic, and a lot of things that come up talking to storefront state license is, what about compliance? How can I feel comfortable that we're going to be compliant and we're not going to get in trouble doing it?
This is a great question. So first of all, I think in the space, and both as our obligation to consumers as well as what we want to make sure we're doing in operating a compliant business, is going through and having the proper outside counsels look in and provide you the tools you need to provide documents to make these companies feel comfortable. And a good example of that is we use both Anet and Venable as our outside counsels to provide us both mock CIDs, to provide us mock audit questions, as well as to make sure we go through our forms and flows, our compliance questionnaires, our due diligence, our marketing practices, our retention practices, our email and SMS practices, to make sure not only that we are compliant in the way that we want to be, but that across both states and feds, we are completely covered there. In addition to that, I'd also say that the experience of the consumer, even though it's not necessarily directly compliance related, really needs to be at the crux of whomever you're working with. So a good example of that is making sure you go through the forms and flows of those you want to work with, seeing how they're treating the consumers, what SMS they're getting, what frequency they're being emailed as well. The other thing I would say is you really want to be able to work with someone where you can dictate what you want to them and they work with you as a partner on it rather than anything else. So anyone you work with should be more than glad to say, hey, I have no intention to remarket to these customers. I'm, taking a small margin through the sale of it, but allowing you to effectively utilize waste in order to grow your overall marketing budget more effectively, rather than providing a bad customer experience to a customer you can't use. And, I'll turn it over to Anet to expand a little bit.
All right, Anet.
Yeah, you covered most of it pretty well, I think, on a broad level. But I think the biggest thing to also focus on is just looking at the company that you're choosing to move forward with on selling your leads to, especially on networks. You just want to make sure that they do have a robust compliance program, period. Do they have an internal compliance person that is looking through all the documents, everything that's necessary to be submitted? Is someone looking in the licenses that are being obtained, from the lenders, and making sure that they're being showcased properly on their websites? These are all checks that we do internally to work with lenders directly. But at the same time, on the flip side, you're going to have to do the same thing, type of a checklist that you're looking at when you're looking at a vendor to choose to actually send your declines to. Because like many of us, we do know that there's still a consumer involved here. So we want to make sure that the compliance aspect of it just really does go through all the way down from the advertising all the way down to how the forms are being review the flow of the form, and make sure that there are no funny business going on as far as like pre-populating information or checking checkboxes, prematurely. These are some of the things that you just want to make sure that it's not happening with the vendor that you're utilizing or are thinking about utilizing, to make sure that the consumers that you're going to refer to these sites are not going to be confused or misled in any way, shape.
So you brought up some great points. So let me ask you a question. So you guys are you saying you're an open book then? You'd be glad to go through the processes and show them the flow then, Morgan? Is that, I think you mentioned that earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, just to expand on Anet's really well articulated point, I was going to say, for a lender, while we understand there can be hesitation in working with a lead provider for good reason, to be clear, I think that it's important to both know the partner you're working with and make sure you have that form of communication where it can only be a positive. Because look, quite honestly, all of the things of which a lender would worry about in terms of selling their leads to a provider can be verified, can be checked, and can be policed and monitored. So it's important to make sure you know how to do those things so that you can hold your partners accountable. It's, trust but verify here. And in this kind of circumstance, I would say you can provide seat phones and emails through your own forms to whoever you're selling to see what's being treated, how the consumer is reacting. And in that way, you have more of a control for your flow. And the other thing is, because these tools exist, and we're glad to talk about them to anyone, anytime, day or night, either Anet or myself are always available. But because these tools exist, you don't need to have fear of it. You just need to know how to make sure you're holding your partners accountable. And as long as you're able to do that, then elite selling is a wonderful tool where you can regain some market spend and basically, provide a customer with what they came for in the first place as well, which is being matched to a loan.
No, you guys bring up some great points. I think you've covered the compliance thing perfectly. So I guess to wrap up here, what does Leap Theory do to help maximize the decline traffic for my lenders? Is there something that you can enlighten them on that might get them excited about?
Yeah, Anet, do you want to lead off? Or
I'll leave that one to you, right?
Well, yeah, great question. I think, look, what does Leap Theory do? We're going to be able to take leads that are declined over there, provide compliantly to a set of lenders that run the gamut, and we'll be able to provide a good consumer experience that have been vetted, that are able to make sure that the consumer is getting what they looked for without being bombarded by messages, and provide a clean, good consumer experience that you as a lender would not only be proud of, but would want to extend from your customers even as they go elsewhere. So that's really what we aim to provide. We have the documents both on the compliance side through our due diligence questionnaires and otherwise, that while they seem extensive, they're related exactly to what we discussed earlier, mainly being outside counsel providing guidance there, as well as, of course, our inside counsel and director of compliance. And in conjunction with that, we are confident that both ourselves and really anyone who you should be working with, as long as they're following these same criteria, will be able to really provide value to you by just helping decrease your marketing spend and therefore allowing you to continue growing your private business.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would add to that is knowing how much we care about compliance ourselves when we're onboarding lenders to work with and to purchase leads from. Those are the audience that your leads are going to see when it comes to referring to the list of lenders. So with that said, is that if we care about who we're onboarding to buy leads from us, that just means that who you're referring to as far as consumers will go through a pink tree that is highly vetted. The biggest part is, again, going back to focusing on the consumer. The consumer itself is going to have several options at this point, given the fact that you as a lender were not able to help them what they needed for as far as the loan is concerned. Then we'll be happy to address that by showcasing several lenders that we have that could potentially be able to help the consumer with what they need. But at the end of the day, it's just something that I will continue to speak highly of, is just how well we vet our lender or lending entities that we work with, so that way we have a slew of options as far as how comfortable you want to be. Maybe this isn't the first time that you've tried this. Maybe there's only a handful of lenders that you want us to send your leads to, or there's just maybe a certain lending license that you're comfortable to send the leads to. We'll be able to work with you to kind of get you started and see and test this out and see how it goes, and then go from there and grow the partnership.
No, that's a great point too. So, awesome. Thank you for joining again. I appreciate you guys being premier partners with LendSuite, and I think your information provided here today will be invaluable, as a lot of, with the new Agora and Infinity integration, a lot of new decline traffic will be out there, and hopefully helping lenders make additional revenue. So, Anet, Morgan, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
As we've already discussed a little bit, a reputation about lead providers from, some previous bad apples has been very persistent in our industry. But in order to address that, I figured I'd bring in one of the larger networks in our space to really discuss about how they'll treat your customers and how they can monetize, get your decline traffic. So please help me introduce Val with the EPCVIP. Val, how you doing, sir?
Real well. Thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure chatting with you, especially about internet marketing and lead gen. It's one of my favorite topics of all time.
Well, I bet you it is. Hey, great news. So we just launched Agora and Infinity, and so we have a lot of lenders that have declined traffic they're looking to monetize. Unfortunately, there is some concern they have on how their customers will be treated. And I want to discuss with you today how you treat the customers and how you can make them feel comfortable about their customers coming through your network.
Great. Thank you. There could be some lasting stigma from, individuals 10, 15 years ago doing unscrupulous methods, but the ecosystem has changed. There's a lot new parties, a lot more vetted companies that are now being worked at. And so the landscape is just different. Unfortunately, there is something about that, but for the better part, it's kind of the path. As a way to talk about and possibly how we can make you feel comfortable, we have to understand that our goal is to maximize the entire lead experience because it's beneficial for both parties. Just like the lender's goal is to provide value for the consumer and still do some light and friendly touch points, the goal is to just maximize the entire user experience. And our goal as a lead generator is to do the same and to really maximize the value of a customer, the true LTV of a consumer. You can't beat them on the head with messages every day, spamming them the entire message segment with one message. It has to be custom, tailored, and beneficial to the leads. The cadence has to respect them and the process at the same time. Now, this may seem feasible, but it just takes time and dedication, and we have the entire department tied to maximizing LTV. And as you can guess, the best method isn't daily touch points or weekly or monthly. You have to figure out when to send them, how. But if you don't ever remarket them, you lose a big potential upside.
No, yeah, that's good. I already feel a little more comfortable with knowing that they'll be treated well. So I guess without giving away any of your secret sauce here, as a lender with decline traffic, how can I turn to EPC and know you guys are going to maximize the value that I could get from these customers?
Yeah, got it. Well, outside having EPC in the name of our company being so paramount, we have a giant, extensive monetization strategy. We have lenders as high as $300 or higher. We have systems for distribution, but a lot of good reason to figure out, why we're the best or why the monetization is high. You have to figure out why a lead is declined for you in the first place or is being sent to the market. And it's usually due to, a customer moving somewhere outside or a state that's no longer being inside of what you work on, or the traffic doesn't qualify for one reason or the other. An individual is searching for a product in a different state in Google or whatnot, and somehow, gets transferred. Or the lead is being purchased multiple times and they're reapplying or getting declined over and over again. And these consumers, they're worth a lot of money. Just because an individual, is now in a different state where you don't operate in, doesn't mean it's not a $300 sale. Just because an individual applied 2 or 3 times that second or third time can still be worth $30, $40, $50, even though you've declined. The trick is the diversity of product. You can't just have a one-stop shop doing loans. You have to have multiple offerings, credit service, credit monitoring, Ubers and Lyft. You have to have a giant offering pool to actually help the consumer across the broad spectrum of quality. And our company excels at monetizing and really tying in the maximum value of a consumer. And we're not just dedicated to one product or one offering. There's a diverse offering tied to the individual, and it's custom and curated per lead.
Okay, so I heard a couple takeaways there. Custom and very diverse. Right? So you got to have a bunch of stuff. So that's awesome. So just, I guess, to wrap up, any final insights, anything you would recommend for these lenders looking to do some of this monetization of their decline traffic?
Yeah. If you're able to monetize your decline traffic, you can, in a way, reinvent your CPF. Now, if you know 20 or 30% of your traffic can still get a $300 to $200 price point, it's getting 20 or 30% of your traffic acquisition pretty much for free. Now, in return, you're able to get 20 or 30% more leads, more funds at a volume, at a cost that you're already spending. Now, if you're able to tie in all this revenue per media buy, like the system allows you to, out of the blue, you turn on this product, boom, 20 or 30% more funds as well. So it's really powerful.
Well, awesome, Val. Well, I appreciate all your insight, and definitely will have all your contact information on the webinar and in the one-pager. So thank you, sir, for all this great insight.
Likewise, thank you for your time, thank you for your service, and thank you for your amazing software.
So, Agora is now in Infinity. You can also use Agora directly from Epic, or you can use Agora directly through Takami. So a lot of opportunities for you to monetize that traffic that you're declining anyways. Now, we heard different stories on ways to monetize it. We talked to 3 great lead providers. We learned about compliance. We learned different marketing strategies. But overall, we learned that lead providers do understand your concerns. They understand that they are going to have to treat your customers right if they're going to keep your business. So if you're sitting here and you have declined traffic, we can lower your overall cost per acquisition, lower your PPC costs, lower your direct mail, increase your organic traffic, put more money back into your lending so that way you can put more money in the street. It's simple. We can help. If you don't like it, it's free. You can stop at any time. But let's connect. Let's help these customers in their time of need find the cash solution that they're looking for. Again, my name is Michael Morales. I'm Director of Partner Relations with LendSuite. And we are extremely excited that Agora is now integrated into Infinity. You can have seamless integration into the Agora product. Again, thank you and have a great day.